There are currently 14 guns in Blox Fruits, but have you ever wondered which one does the most damage? To find out, I maxed out 600 mastery on every single gun and upgraded each one to deal the highest possible damage.
Stop it. Get some help.
I also equipped the Musketeer hat and used the human race to push the damage even further. Make sure to watch until the end, because the result is really surprising. And if you enjoy this kind of content, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps keep me motivated to make more videos like this. Starting with the Slingshot. You can get this gun in the first sea at Middletown. Just head over to the weapon dealer NPC right here. The Slingshot costs 5,000. To upgrade it, you'll need 5 leather and 5 angel wings. Let's start by checking out the M1. Look at these shots, I can just spam them. 841 for M1, that's actually understandable since the Slingshot is a common weapon. But the M1 cooldown is super fast. Now, the first ability is Ink Bomb. 1,529 damage. That doesn't really look like an ink bomb. It looks more like an octopus just pooped in front of me. And the last move we have is Proximity Bomb. Let's throw it right at the NPC's face. 2,290 for damage. Honestly, that's pretty decent for an uncommon gun. But yeah, the range isn't great. So, the total damage for the Slingshot comes out to 4,664. Surprisingly low. But before we move on to the next gun, I saw a lot of comments on my previous video about testing on Nongura NPCs versus Aura NPCs, saying it might be unfair or the damage numbers could be different. Is that actually true? Let's find out together. I'm going to shoot an M1 at this level 5 bandit in the first sea, and then do the same to an Aura NPC in the third sea. It deals 841 damage to the Nongura bandit. Now, moving on to the third sea. It deals the exact same damage. So, this myth is completely false. I think it only applies to players, not NPCs. Alright, let's move on to the uncommon guns. In Blox Fruits, there are 2, the Flintlock and the Musket. We'll kick things off with the Musket. You can find it at Middletown, sold by the weapon dealer. As you can see, the Musket is listed second from the bottom, just above the Slingshot. It'll cost you 8,000 in-game currency. For upgrades, you'll need 5 fishtails and 5 leather. These materials will boost your damage by 25%. I won't dive into how to get those materials right now. That's a longer story for another time. Let's take a look at the M1. That reload animation looks really smooth, doesn't it? Alright, time to shoot someone. Let me quickly turn on my aura. And boom, 3,823 damage. Wow, that's really high. But the M1 cooldown is pretty slow, especially compared to the Slingshot, where you can just spam attacks. Now, let's check out the Z move, called Draconic Bullet. Sniped. That hit for 4,078 damage. The bullet also leaves burning fire on the ground. Let's shoot it downward to test the burning damage. The total damage is 5,097, which includes the fire damage. The burn damage itself accounts for 1,019 of that total, calculated by subtraction. Next up, the X move, it's called Torching Shot. This feels a bit like Sukuna's Divine Flame, Kamino style. It deals 4,333 damage without the flame, but with the flame, a whopping 6,541. Oh my god, that kind of damage is incredible. Let's total it up. Without the burning damage, you're looking at 12,230 for total. But with the burning damage included, that jumps to 15,461 total. And remember, this is just an uncommon gun. The damage ... is insane. And now, this is our last uncommon gun in Blox Fruits. The gun is called Flintlock. Hello again. weapon dealer, this is going to be the last time we visit you. So yeah, this is our final option to buy from you here. It costs 10,500. To upgrade the flintlock, you'll need 5 magma ore and 5 leather, which again boosts your damage by 25%. Let's start by looking at the M1. Oh wow, you're spinning and rolling it in your hand too. Alright, are you ready to get shot? That's 3,313 damage. Next, we have the Z move, called Concentrated Shot. The particle effect looks kinda like Kizaru's Light, doesn't it? And now we shoot it, boom, for 1,280 to damage. After testing so many times, the highest damage I hit was 5,046. Considering how unpredictable this move is, those numbers aren't good at all. It's so random that the developers probably set the damage to fall somewhere within a range of 3,700 to 5,000. Our second move is called Marksman Fury. This one deals 5,860 to damage. I think this move is really solid for PvP, especially if your enemy gets close. You can just blast them away like that ... unless they're one of the beast types.
Congratulations! You won 10 dragons!
Oh my god, thank you so much.
Alright, look up.
Now, if we add everything up, we get a total damage of 14,221. That means the flintlock deals around 2,000 more damage than the musket. I can definitely see that a lot of guns have gotten big improvements after the rework update. Are you excited to see how much damage the Skull Guitar and Dragon Storm will do? Stick around until the end, at least you'll know exactly how much damage each gun can deal. Let's continue. We've covered all the common and uncommon guns. Now, let's dive into the rare guns. There are 6 of them. I know it's a lot, but we're going to kick things off with the refined Slingshot, the improved version of the regular Slingshot. To get your hands on this gun, you'll need to find the advanced weapon dealer at the Marine Fortress in the first sea of Blox fruits. The refined Slingshot costs 30,000 and requires 10 scrap metals and 10 angel wings for upgrades. Upgrading it boosts its damage by 20%. You won't see me upgrading it right now because I've already done mine. Now, let's move on to testing out its damage. First up, the M1. Honestly, the M1 looks just like the normal Slingshot. It hits for 1,835 damage, which is double the damage of the standard Slingshot. Plus, you can really spam this attack. Next, let's take a look at the Z move, Ink Swarm. I think the range is about the same, but the color is different, and they've added a troop of tiny squids. These little squids actually help you deal more damage and restore your HP if an enemy touches them after the explosion. I don't think I can test a troop of squids on this NPC. Let's move it to another one. The main giant squid deals 1,468 damage, and the little troop of squids hits for an impressive 6,035. It's pretty wild that the special effect itself deals more damage than the main move, isn't it? Our final move is the Cluster Bomb, Charge. This bomb hits for 1,998, and the subsequent Sparkle deals 3,497 in total. I'd say it's similar to the normal Slingshot's version, but with a little more going on. So, if you add up all the plain damage, you're looking at 5,301, but if you combine the poison and sparkle effects, you can get up to 12,835. For people who wonder why it got 12,835, it's because the Z-move Giant Squid deals 1,468 damage, and when you add that with the move Troop of Squids which deals 6,035, you get 7,503. Then, You add the M1 and the X move to that 7,503 to reach the final result of 12,835. The damage is good, but it can be a bit tricky to use effectively. Overall, I think the refined Slingshot is a definite upgrade. It doubles the damage for the M1, and the combo potential is pretty useful in PvP. It definitely makes sense to call this one the refined Slingshot. Approved. The second rare gun on our list is the Magma Blaster. You can get your hands on this awesome weapon in the first sea by defeating the Magma Admiral at Magma Village. Now, the drop rate for this gun is pretty low. I'm not sure of the exact percentage, but I'd guess it's around 5%. I could be wrong, but that's my best estimate. Honestly, this is my favorite gun design in the game. It just perfectly matches my Magma hand, as you can see. To get an upgrade boost for your gear, you'll need to gather 10 fishtails and 10 scraps metal. These materials will boost your damage by 20%. You can obtain them by defeating certain NPCs. As always, I'm not going to be telling you where to get each material, because this video is more about testing the damage of the gun, so subscribe if you want to see that. Let's take a look at the N1 attack. It's super fast, and from what I've seen, it looks magnificent visually. Let's test it out on an NPC. After testing it multiple times, I've figured out something crucial. The closer you are to your target, the higher the damage you'll deal with the M1. It's really tough to get an exact number, but I'm going to estimate the M1 deals around 6,200 damage if you hit up close, because that was the highest damage I received. Next up is the Scorching Burst move. This one deals 3,260 to damage. As you can see, it also has a spreading, falling magma effect after it explodes. However, I'm not going to count that extra damage because it's really hard to consistently land that effect on an enemy. Our final move is Magmatic Pressure. You press and hold this move to unleash a continuous stream of magma, almost like a Gatling gun. Time to test the damage. It deals an impressive 10,573 damage. Wow, that's crazy. But what if we use the Human Race V3? With Human V3, it deals 10,850 for damage. It's just a slight increase in damage for this move. So, if we add everything up, the total damage we're getting is a whopping 20,035. Ayo, that's insane damage for a rare gun. At the end of this video, we're going to be testing the Dragonstorm M1 with the Human Race V4. We're really going to try and get the highest possible damage. So stick around until the end. You're going to be excited to see how much damage it deals. Alright, so now we're moving on to the third rare gun in the game, the dual flintlock. I've seen a lot of people on TikTok using this in PvP, creating all sorts of crazy combos. It's really strong and has an impressive range. To get your hands on this item, you'll need to visit the Marine Fortress and find the advanced weapon dealer. Hey again, it'll cost you 65,000 to get the dual flintlock. For upgrades, head over to the blacksmith. You'll need to pay 10 scrap metals and 10 magma ores, and that'll boost its damage by 20%. Okay, let's test out the damage. First, the M1. I actually love the way this gun swings. The animation is really nice. If I shoot it at the ground, you'll see this cool blue impact. And if I shoot it up into the sky, the range is pretty impressive. Let's try shooting an NPC. 4,551 damage. Look at this. You can just push them away and keep shooting, almost like you're playing Fortnite. Even though I personally never played Fortnite before. Now for our first move, Splitting Beam. That's 4,710 damage. This move honestly makes me feel like I'm just sweeping my broom to clean my room.
What the hell is this? You don't clean your room, huh?
And the second move we have is Bullet Storm. You have to hold down the X key, and look at that, it's like a Happy New Year fireworks display. Let's check the damage. damage ... It deals 5,869 damage. I totally get why so many players use this for combos, or in PvP, the range is incredibly wide, and it's super easy to use. The X move can stun enemies and break their instinct at the same time. That's why this gun's overpowered. So, if we add all that damage up, the total is 15,130. Even if the damage isn't top tier, this weapon truly excels in its long range, user-friendliness, and how effortlessly you can land hits. If you compare it to something like the Slingshot, or even the refined Slingshot, those can still be tough to land hits with, even when comparing them directly. That's precisely why, especially in PvP, I'd lean towards the dual flintlock. Its reliability and ease of hitting targets give you a huge advantage in a fight. Alright, moving on to our next weapon, the cannon. You can also get this gun from the advanced weapon dealer at the Marine Fortress in the First Sea. This one will set you back 100,000 in-game currency, which I think might be a little pricey for beginners. For upgrades, you'll need to pay the blacksmith 5 fishtails, 5 magma ores, and 5 leathers. That'll give you a 30% damage boost. So, this really just feels like having a mini cannon in your hand. Let's check out the M1. Wow, this move is pretty delayed. I guess it makes sense for a cannon to be slow, but the range is quite satisfying to me. It deals 5,831 damage for the M1, which is a pretty good start. Our first move is Chain Detonation, dealing 4,948 damage, and our X-Key move is Incendiary Ammo. This one leaves a fire particle effect on the floor as well. If you only count the bullet damage, it will deal 4,347, but when you include the fire, it can deal up to 5,407 damage. I also found a cool trick. When you use incendiary ammo inside a narrow room or enclosed space, you can actually deal 6,640 for damage. I could be wrong, but that's the highest damage I've gotten so far with it. So, if we add up all the damage, without the fire, it totals 15,126. But if you include the fire, the total jumps up to 17,423. That's a little bit higher than the dual flintlock. However, the delay on this gun really isn't worth it if you're planning to use it in PvP. Honestly, I'd still choose the dual flintlock over the cannon for PvP combat. Alright, we're almost done with our rare weapon damage tests. Up next is the bizarre Revolver. This eye-catching gun is blue and gold with some really bright, glowing sections. You can find it in the Second Sea, specifically on the Cursed ship. Look for an NPC named El Rodolfo on the bottom floor of that ship. This gun will cost you 25 ectoplasm, which you get by beating up the NPCs on the Cursed ship. For upgrading, you'll pay the blacksmith 20 leather, 10 angel wings, and 5 magma ores, and that'll bump its damage up by 15%. Let's check out the M1. From what I'm seeing, on the third hit, that lightning sparkle gets way more intense. The M1 by itself does 2,814 damage. But does that mean the damage goes up when we hit the third hit passive? Let's find out together. 1, 2, 3. No, it's the exact same damage. I'm not really sure why the developers added that cool visual if it doesn't give more damage, but I seriously love the bullet reloading animation and the way it fires. It totally gives me this vibe of aliens invading and humans using futuristic weapons to fight them off. Our first move is Space Bending Blast. Alright, blue. That's 4,846 damage. Not bad at all. And the X-Key move is Dimensional Surge. You've got to hold this move down to shoot out a blue plasma blast that pushes enemies away. It deals 4,958 damage. Overall, this gun is actually pretty good for PvP. The M1 fires incredibly fast compared to a lot of other guns. Plus, both the Z move and the X-Key move are super easy to use and not hard to aim at all. So, if you add everything up, The total damage you're looking at is 12,618.
Failure.
Alright, for our final rare gun, we've got the Acidum Rifle. To get your hands on it, you'll need to beat a factory raid in the second sea. For upgrades, you'll need to give the blacksmith 8 vampire fangs and 10 leather. It will boost its damage by 10%. First off, let's look at the M1. I've seen a lot of people complain about this gun's rework, especially skill build players using the rumble fruit. They say it really messes with their aim. Personally, I don't think it's that bad, but of course, it does have an impact. Anyway, let's shoot an NPC. The M1 does 4,930 for damage. And a great thing about this gun is that many of its moves break instincts, which is super useful. First up, Spiky Bomb. Oh, a skull. It deals 5,383 damage and also stuns the enemy for a few seconds. Finally, for our last move, we have Acidic Smoke. I've tried this move so many times, and I think the highest damage it can deal is about 8,578. I suspect it could go even higher. But it's really tough to find the exact maximum number for this move, so I hope you understand. If you total everything up, you'll get a total damage of 18,895, and that, my friends, is one of the highest damage totals we've seen so far. Alright, now let's move on to the legendary guns. We've got the Bazooka, Venom Bow, Kabacha, and Dragon Storm. And for our mythical gun, there's only one, the Skull Guitar. To really push the limits, I'm going to use the Dragon Storm M1 with Human Race V4. As you probably already know, the M1 for this gun is just sick, and we're going to use it to take down the Captain Elephant boss in this video. We'll see just how much damage we can dish out, but for now, let's kick things off with the Bazooka. You can actually snag this gun in the first sea by defeating the Whisper boss. To find him, you'll need to head up to the upper Skyland. Just break that cloud right over there, and it'll teleport you straight up. You'll need to defeat him until it drops for you. Now, for upgrading details, you'll need 1 Dark Fragment, which you get by defeating Blackbeard in the second sea, 15 Dragon Scales, and 10 Magma Ores. Take all of that to the blacksmith, and they can boost your damage up by 25%. Alright, let's take a look at the Bazooka's M1 attack. It actually has a range and impact quite similar to the Skull Guitar, but the reloading on this gun is super slow. Still, that range is quite impressive. Let's hit an NPC with it now. It deals 5,860 to damage. Not bad at all. I also have a feeling this move might even be able to break instinct. So, our first move is Heat Wave. Oh, and it leaves a trail of fire on the ground. Let's try that again. After a bunch of attempts with this gun, the highest damage I could get was around 6,456. Next up is Flaring Missiles. This time, it releases 5 bullets. The highest damage it can do is about 5,097 damage, and that includes the fire. I tried really hard to get the damage without the fire, but it's super difficult, so I'm just including the damage with all the fire burning. Honestly, I think this gun is kind of like a nerfed version of the Skull Guitar. Its abilities are pretty good, but the Skull Guitar's range is still way better. So, this is what the table looks like now. I just made some slight adjustments. And if we add everything up, the total damage you're looking at is 17,415. No wonder this gun is legendary. Alright, now we're finally moving on to the top tier guns in the game. Let's kick things off with the Venom Bow. As you probably already know, this gun is super powerful, especially when it comes to PvP and chaining combos. That's because it's great at breaking instinct and can even stun enemies. To get your hands on this gun, you'll need to defeat the Hydra leader boss at the Hydra castle right over here. Now, for upgrading details, you'll need to pay 1 meteorite, which you can get from the Orbitus boss in the second sea, 10 vampire fangs, and 10 scrap metals. Take all of that to the blacksmith, and they can boost your damage up by 10%. Let's take a look at its N1. It deals 4,037 damage. That might seem a little low at first glance, but it's actually really effective for breaking an opponent's instinct during a battle. Our first move is Venomous Spit. This one hits for 5,383 damage. Seriously, this gun is mainly used for breaking instinct. And our last move is Serpent Bite. This deals 4,485 damage. This is the move we use to set up our combos, as it stuns the enemy for a while. So, the total damage for the Venom Bow is 13,905 damage. That's interestingly low for a legendary gun. However, its real strength lies in its utility for PvP, combo creation, and instinct breaking. That's precisely why this gun is considered top tier on the PvP list. Look at this, Soaking is finally back in the story. And of course, this is the Kabacha. Some really skilled players in the past used this gun for amazing combos. I genuinely love this gun after its rework. It has improved so much. To get your hands on this, you'll need to head to the second sea and buy it at the remote island. The price for this beauty is 1,500 fragments in the game. For the upgrade, you need 15 dragon scales, 3 vampire fangs, and 50 leathers to boost the Kabacha damage by 15%. Let's take a look at the N1. Just look at that confetti particle effect. Bro, it is so cool. I honestly love this gun the most after the rework. So, if I'm not wrong, it might follow a progression like this: Slingshot to refined Slingshot, and then Kabacha. The M1 for this gun is absolutely fast. Anyway, let's test it on an NPC. It deals 2,110 damage. That might seem low, but consider the fact that you can just spam the M1. The NPC has no chance to hit me. LOL. Our first move is Blazing Phoenix. Let's see what this looks like. Ayo, just look at this charge up and the effect on my screen. This is why this is my favorite gun now. Releasing the Phoenix. $5,780 for damage. I actually have no words to describe how magnificent this gun is. It has perfectly godly visuals. And the last move is Dragon Tempest. Fire. 6,565 damage. I actually love this gun, no matter what other people say about it. So, if we add all the moves up, you're going to get a total damage of 14,459. The damage is low again. But as I said, the user-friendliness of this gun is far better compared to the rest. It's easy to hit targets and pull off impressive combos. But of course, the purpose of this video is to find out which gun deals the most damage, not a PvP tier list. And finally, we've got the Dragon Storm. Seriously, one of the best guns so far. And in the red corner, the Skull Guitar, the rival of all time for this challenge. Which gun do you like the most? Let me know in the comments down below. I'll kick things off by testing out the Skull Guitar's damage first. Now, getting your hands on the Skull Guitar is actually quite difficult. You must be a minimum level of 2,300 just to complete the puzzle to obtain it. But of course, I'm not going to show you how to get the Skull Guitar right now, because this video would end up taking way too long if we covered that and tested damage. So, after you finish that puzzle, you then have to pay 1 Dark Fragment, 500 bones, 250 ectoplasm, and 5,000 fragments. So yeah, that costs a lot. For the upgrade materials, you'll need 1 Dark Fragment, 15 Dragon Scales, and 10 Magma Ores. That will boost its damage by 6%. Now, it's time to check out the damage. The M1 hits for 2,593. Our first move is Soul Shaker. It deals for 1,755. which isn't bad, and it's pretty similar to the Kabacha's X move. Finally, our last move is El Diablo. This unleashes a massive 9,185 damage. If we add everything up, you're going to get a total damage of 16,533. Considering it's the only mythical gun in the game, that's actually quite low. However, the fact that this gun can break instinct easily makes it one of the most used for PvP, and it's still on the top tier list for making combos. And if you're really good at PvP, some people even use a bug to get a speed boost from this gun. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, it's time for the Dragon Storm damage. Before you can get this gun, you need to grab the red Gojo belt first by doing the dojo quest from the dojo trainer right here. Once you have that red dojo belt, you can craft it at the Dragon Hunter over here. The materials needed to craft this gun are 2 dragon eggs, 10 dinosaur bones, 5 dragon scales, and 30 blaze embers. As I said earlier, I won't be showing you how to get each material because the whole point of this video is just testing the damage for each gun. Hope you guys understand that. For the upgrade, you'll pay 1 dark fragment, 15 dragon scales, and 10 magma ores to the blacksmith, and that will boost its damage by 8%. Alright, let's take a look at the M1. Check out the firework festival. And now, for the big moment, Dragon Storm versus the Captain Elephant boss. We hit for a massive 26,388 damage. That is super crazy damage right there. If you get higher damage than this, comment down below because this is the highest I've gotten after many attempts. Next up is Draconic Cascade, which hits for 5,760. There are 2 versions of this move. You can use it while on the ground or while staying in the air. The damage will differ depending on how you use it. The air version can deal 6,613. And our last move is Infernal Comet, dealing 9,740 damage. This gun is way more powerful than the Skull Guitar now. Even though the Skull Guitar is better for combos, I think the damage for this gun is really high, and many moves make it much easier to break instinct. I don't even know why this gun isn't a mythical tire. Don't get me wrong, the Skull Guitar is still good for making a combo, but the moment you've truly been anticipating. What if we use the Human Race V to test it out? I'll press V3, stack that damage, and hit them at the same time. The moment of truth. V3. A mind-blowing 49,623 damage. Oh my god, look at that power. That's just too insane. And while the Cyborg V could potentially push that damage even higher, that's usually for multiple hits, not a single strike. Finally, here's every single damage total for each gun in the table I've put together. I genuinely hope this is super useful for all of you. If I've said anything wrong or made any mistakes, I truly apologize.